contact 904-354-3114 or hubbardhouse.org to learn more.
Jacksonville Cougars. It's me, Soccer Sam from Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizzeria is now open in Jacksonville, Florida. Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. $10 daily deals, dine-in beer and wine, and delivery. Salvatores.com.
Live from the Anajar and Levine studios, Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Christine Lisi, breaking news. 2 more years of the Patrick Mahomes-Travis Kelce connection in Kansas City. The Chiefs and Kelce agreed to a 2-year extension, reportedly making him the highest-paid tight end in the NFL. ESPN's Adam Schefter's reporting. Running back Ezekiel Elliott agreed on a 1-year deal with the Cowboys, max value $3 million. First-round NBA playoffs. Nuggets may be without one of their best players. Game 5 versus the Lakers tonight. Point guard Jamal Murray left calf strain, listed as questionable in the potential series clincher. First Take host, Stephen A. Smith.
Michael Porter Jr., obviously Jamal Murray, them brothers have to show up. They showed up for the first 3 games, didn't really show up in game 4. They got to do that. Jokic is Jokic. He always there. He'll never let you down. But those other guys got to show up. And if Jamal Murray is not there, Jokic, usually, they're not the same Denver Nuggets team.
UAB football players said their entire roster has signed up for athletes.org, making them the first full Division I football team to publicly join a budding players association.
As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
You and your children can find safety. Hubbard House can help. For survivors of domestic violence in Duval and Baker counties, Hubbard House has free, confidential shelter and support. Caring advocates are available day and night. Contact 904-354-3114 or hubbardhouse.org to learn more.
Who is this guy? Aaron Shafting? What is it? Oh, Schachter? Schachter. Okay. Shack Attack. Schachter. He gets shacked. But I digress. Here we go.
You ready? Yeah. Turn up your radio.
The Aaron Schachter Show on ESPN 690.
Hello. Welcome. It's the Aaron Schachter Show. Another week of fun on tap for you guys. We're here live today from 3 p.m. until 5 p.m. as we are every weekday. That I'm here to do the show, which admittedly in the first couple of months hasn't been all of them and may not be moving forward. But hey, that's the fun of the show, Justin. You never know what you're going to get day to day. For instance, normally we have Brian Middleton producing the show.
Yes.
Today, it's Justin Cousart.
Back again.
Welcome back.
Is this like a Monday thing?
I don't think it's a Monday thing. It's like an OG thing.
Okay.
We go to the OG well sometimes. Guys who have been around since the beginning.
Sure.
Guys who haven't been kicked out of the door yet.
Well, you never know. There's still time.
You got 2 hours before the end of the show.
That's what I mean.
Lots of fun over the weekend. The NFL draft wrapping up its 7 rounds. That was a good time. I thought the NFL did a great job this year with the draft. Really turning it into a massive event. Not just for the people there. Obviously, it's massive for the people in Detroit, but for the people at home watching TV, Justin. It became like a really watchable benchmark thing.
It felt like all the teams, social media teams, got together and were like, we're going to do a lot of content of these guys reacting to being told they're being drafted.
You're going to – you think you've seen too much of it?
No, I'm just saying like I feel like we saw it a little bit in years past, but this time it was like every TikTok or video was the coach being like, we're going to take you with that next pick. And then them like – and then the next person, like the owner or somebody's like, hey, there? Can you hear me? And they're like, yeah, sorry, I'm here, coach. They didn't even realize it's a different person.
Yeah.
And then, it's like, okay, I've seen this play out.
Yeah, I have grown to love the owner/coach/GM phone call. But I will say this. I was thinking about this, too, watching a few of these different draft pick videos. I saw a few that I really loved. And if you really need a go-to for a tearjerker, if you're really like sitting around in your house just hoping you could squeak out a tear in your free time, usually the people who are in the military returning home to their families, those are
Guaranteed.
very, very easy go-to videos for that, right?
Yep. Guaranteed.
Second to that are usually, and sometimes it's actually military members as well, people have been separated from their animals.
Yes.
And then the reuniting of usually a dog, in a parking lot.
Taken away in a hurricane, and it just
it ran away.
Yeah.
And 6 years later, they're reunited.
And the dog's losing its mind.
Losing its absolute you-know-what. Just whimpering and tail wagging and showing its belly for a little belly rub. What a good boy. That stuff usually 100% on the feel-good tear-jerker scale. I think I'm really close to putting the "you've been drafted by the NFL team" video in that tier of videos.
Yes, but I need to see the player. I don't need to hear them reacting and the coach listening on the phone. I need to see them reacting.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I don't know.
Sometimes you don't have a camera crew at the house.
Sure, send a camera crew. You're the NFL. You can handle that.
I mean, there are a lot of kids hoping to be drafted once you get 7 rounds deep, my friend.
Yeah.
No, what you need is a responsible family and agent, right? If you've got an agent who's in the know, and then the team is like, hey, man, we're going to come up and grab your kid here with the 275th pick in the draft, they need to get with Uncle Timmy in the draft party and be like, hey, man, take out the phone. You're responsible for the filming now. You're responsible.
Yeah, just get the phone out, set it up in the corner, or just tell them put a Ring camera in the corner of the house and don't turn it off. Just let it go for the day.
Look at you willing to give up your privacy to hungry corporations.
Just do it for the weekend, man. Do it for the marketing, the potential. I don't know. Maybe you're going to say something, and then next thing you know, Oreo wants to endorse you, and there's a fat check.
I actually think the better videos are the kids drafted way later in the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, these are kids who possibly didn't even expect to get drafted. And they're getting this phone call while they're out on a fishing trip or something like that. So granted, no cameras, no phone, no party, but the phone call is still like extreme excitement, and it really does warm the heart. So great content, great job by all the social media team, especially the Jaguars social media team. I thought they were putting in some work over the last couple of days. This might be one of the busiest weekends for them outside of if the team makes the playoffs or something like that.
Yeah, you got to be planning way ahead. Like, you see a trending sound or something, you're like, oh, let's use that for pick number 3, and we'll use this one for pick number 4.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I imagine it's also really busy opening week, and when the team comes back, and when guys are reporting, social media team out there, what's your favorite movie? Like, there's a lot of that stuff happening.
It's also, I would feel a little, I guess the word's nervous, but I would know these guys are trying to lock in. They're trying to work out, and I'm out here if you had to eat a carrot, would you?
That's why you don't take that job.
I know.
That's why you take the job that puts you in the dark room with the LED lights behind you pushing buttons. You don't take the in the guy's face with a camera. Talk to me. You don't take that job. Yeah.
Looking real sunburnt today.
Yeah. Looking like a cherry tomato out of the Jags flex field. Yeah. Yeah, that's not for you.
Nope.
A little bit of Jaguars news outside of the draft, by the way. I do want to get this out of the way, a little bit of housekeeping for the boys. The Jaguars selected, obviously, big-time wide receiver in the first round of the draft. We were talking about that on Friday. Did you know, Justin, today they announced that they're going to be joined in their rookie minicamp by a non-rookie who's a 3-time Pro Bowler. Talking about Jarvis Landry.
Little veteran presence, if you will.
Oh, yeah, Jarvis Landry, it has been announced, scheduled to appear, as we like to say in the concert business, at the Jaguars rookie minicamp, hoping to make an impression on the coaching staff and get that invite to the rest of the camps, trying to make it on the roster with the rest of the young Jaguars. This is according to Tom Pelissero from the NFL Network. But former Miami Dolphin, Cleveland Brown, New Orleans Saints, Jarvis Landry. And by the way, most importantly, as far as the Jaguars are concerned, alumni of LSU, because as we know, after the 3 LSU picks in the draft, the Jaguars want this direct pipeline now to Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers.
Jacksonville SU, yeah.
Well, the Eagles have the Georgia connection, so we needed something.
LSU, that's cool.
63rd pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, so no spring chicken here for Jarvis Landry. He went out to play 4 seasons with the Dolphins. He got the Pro Bowl nod in 2015, 2016, and 2017. 1,000-yard seasons, a couple of 100-catch seasons. And then he did a little bit worse with the Browns, but still was a really integral part to that offense, and it certainly paid off for him. Now, when he went over to the Saints, he did end up with an injury. I think it was an ankle injury that shelved him in 22 and then pretty much the entirety of 23. So this will be his first time professionally, at least on the football field, in a very long time. But he has proved to be extremely capable in the past in terms of the slot and would be a great veteran presence on a team with a lot of young guys in that wide receiver room, including the established veterans they have who are not old guys.
No, Jags probably one of the younger teams in the league, correct?
It might be. But, when you look at all the age groupings in the league, which team has the youngest roster, they're really only separated by like a year and change most of the time. I think Green Bay had the youngest team last year, but like the oldest team was only 2 years older than them. I mean, I think it's more dependent on which one of these skill positions, which one of these premier positions are you old at and where you're young. Because if you skew old into your mid-30s on the offensive line, it doesn't seem to matter as much.
Well, and I also think it would be, like if you talk about a quarterback who has experience and can keep everybody, I guess the word's not in check, but keep everybody level-headed in situations where you need to be firing at 100%. That also helps if you got a young quarterback and they don't know how to necessarily do that yet. That's where the young factor could come into play.
That's fair. But on the alternative side of that, if you do have a Kirk Cousins under center for you, you can at least say to yourself, this is not the future of the franchise.
No, you say we need to take a quarterback in the first round and really throw everybody off.
We need to screw everything up and turn the draft upside down. But to the point, like you could say this team is old, this team is young, but if your quarterback is really old, you have to make a significant move in the next year or two. If your wide receivers are old, you have to make a significant move. Your running back, you need to make a significant move. Cornerbacks. But when it comes to offensive line, even defensive line to a certain degree, those guys can be in their 30s. You're getting pretty premier effort and production out of a lot of those names. So I do think it's a little bit skewed when it comes to that stuff. That being said, I think Jarvis Landry would be a great influence in the locker room if he still has the skill set to earn his way onto an NFL roster. Would love to see that happen here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also going on, the Jaguars made a pair of pretty easy contract decisions. This actually happened on Friday, but we didn't really get to talk about it too much. The Jags exercised the fifth-year option for both Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. Both of them taken in the 21 draft, if you don't remember. Trev, number 1, Travis, number 25. So anyone selected in the first round has that fifth-year option for the team, and it gets a little bit wonky over who gets paid what based on what. Pro Bowl has a little bit to do with it, and the average pay is between this slot and this slot. When it's all said and done, just know it like this. Lawrence's fifth-year option is going to be worth $25.7 million guaranteed. Etienne's fifth-year option will be worth $6.7 million guaranteed. I believe when you pick up the fifth-year option, it also fully guarantees the fourth-year salary. But, of course, these are rookie deals. So the fourth-year salary for both guys is going to be relatively small compared to what they're going to be seeing on an extension or even on their guarantee years in next year, in their fifth year. That being said, Justin, I thought it was pretty interesting. Trevor Lawrence now at 25 for at least his fifth year, $25.7 million. Where would that slot him if that was his actual AAV, his actual annual average value, his salary? Interestingly enough, it slots him between the 16 and 17 spot, which is Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith.
And I would take Trevor over both of them.
I would too, actually. Even last year's Baker, who made the playoffs, I would take Trevor above him. That's just a personal preference. Certainly take him above Geno Smith at 32 years old. Looked great 2 years ago. Looked good. A little less than great last year. I have a feeling it's going to continue in that direction over the next couple of years as Geno enters his mid-30s, one of those positions that you don't want to be in your 30s at. But above Baker, you've got Jared Goff, who's in line for a brand new contract. So we'll put him to the side for a second because I think he's going to get in the 50s when it gets said and done. That being said, the word on that is that the Lions are nowhere close to finishing off that extension yet, and they really do need to be soon. Aaron Rodgers, $37.5 million at this point. Would you pay Trevor more than Aaron Rodgers? It's a tough call. Aaron's almost 40, but if you got Aaron Rodgers on your team, you might be a little more confident in the consistency at a top-tier thrower than what you've seen out of Trevor and some of that decision-making so far.
Might be a little injury concern there as well.
Sure. Derek Carr, who absolutely got the bag, got overpaid by the New Orleans Saints, $37.5 million. They've got a little buyer's remorse there, I got to imagine.
Yeah, I want to say I'd take Trevor over Carr.
I would 100 times out of 100 take Trevor over Derek Carr. Daniel Jones slotting in at $40 million on the average, and lots of people have been talking about Daniel Jones' contract since the day he signed it. Danny Dimes, Danny Dollars. But the reality is, if the decision is between Trevor and Daniel Jones, I'm taking Trevor. Yeah. Now, there was a comparison on Facebook I saw recently where they were like, the guys are the same. Stop it. Stop it. Intellectually disingenuous. You are lying. Stop it. Matt Stafford coming in tied for 10th at $40 million. And here comes the group of guys where I hesitate to put Trevor ahead. When Matt Stafford is dealing, boy, is this guy dealing.
Sure.
Granted, he's 33 with the body of a 72-year-old. So you don't want to have to pay him $40 million. As a matter of fact, I think he's on the book for like 60 next year. They really don't want to do that. But when you're talking about paying a guy his value to be under center for you, I feel like this is where you start to get a little pushback in terms of the salary compared to the name for Trev. Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins, Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. Obviously, that's been a disgrace. But
Mahomes' contract's a whole kind of weird. Like, that one you almost have to.
Sure, but he's still in the top 10, and he's still worth it, and he's still getting paid more than Trev's getting paid at $45 million, and he still earns every cent of that.
Agreed.
So I'm going to keep him in that list. Kyler Murray's still up in the air. He was injured for half the season last year and a big chunk of the season before it, so it's hard to judge there, but I think the Cardinals are happy with what they got there. They're not making any moves anytime soon. Jalen Hurts just got the bag. Lamar Jackson just got the bag. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow just got the bag, and there's the top of the list right there. So Trevor Lawrence, a little lower than he should be on that guarantee salary. The Jags, despite having to pay him almost $26 million, still getting kind of a discount on there that they need to take advantage of in year 5, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably a discount on both guys, right?
And then speaking of that fifth-year option, we had Travis Etienne, a little bit shorter of a conversation for sure. But you look at Travis Etienne, I think his guarantee was, $6.7 million. And you go, all right, what does that look like in today's running back world? Because you saw some good ones, like Austin Eckler just signed a deal for $4.25. And so Austin Eckler, granted, 28 years old, but no slouch. Jahmyr Gibbs on a rookie deal, but $4.5. Bijan on a rookie deal, about $5 million all in for the year. Devin Singletary showed up real nice for the Texans last year. He's getting paid $5.5. Montgomery at $6. Miles Sanders, who's actually a cut candidate out in Carolina, at $6 and $350. And this is where you would find Travis Etienne slotted before Aaron Jones. Now, Aaron Jones last year had a tremendous season for Green Bay, getting paid $7 million. Tied at that slot with James Conner, another great running back. I would put Travis Etienne in this area until we see consistent production throughout an entire season. Because we know the dude's got the talent. We know the dude's got the goods. He's got the speed, the ability to catch the ball. He could line up multiple places. He's got a great dynamic with Trevor Lawrence. The nonverbal communication. Guys have been playing together now for, it's got to be, 21, 3 years in the pros, another 2 years in college. You know, you're going on 5-6 years for these guys together. You don't want to screw that up. 6.7, I think, is somewhat of a compliment in today's running back field. Now, there are some older contracts that got signed where guys are making a lot more than that. And then some newer contracts that got signed where a Saquon Barkley, a Jonathan Taylor, even a Alvin Kamara is getting a whole ton more than that, maybe double, if not more. That being said, I don't think you see too many more of those moving forward. That's more the unicorn price for running backs as opposed to the standard going rate that you saw Tony Pollard get in Tennessee. 26-year-old Tony Pollard, it's not like an old guy, but Tony Pollard pulled in $7.25. And I'm like, yeah, this is really the neighborhood I think Etienne should be in at least at the beginning of this second contract.
Well, and are they trying to lower his workload too? Going forward?
It's interesting because Doug did mention he wanted to ease the burden on Travis Etienne, but going into last season, he claimed he thought Etienne was a 1,700-yard rusher, not yards from scrimmage, which is, I said, a much easier way to get to 1,700 yards, but as a rusher, 1,700 yards. And we know about halfway through the season, a little less than halfway through the season, he was up there in touches, and he was up there in yards and efficiency and yards per carry for a while. And so I think they do believe in him as a runner. I just don't think it's Doug's preference to have an offense, or really Press Taylor's preference via Doug, to have a run-first offense where ETN's getting 25 carries a game. It's just not in the cards for this team. And maybe it shouldn't be. I mean, it probably shouldn't be. That being said, don't you just want to unleash this guy at some point? I mean, I just want to take the reins off him. If there was any player on the offense that I would just want to take the reins off and just go make it happen, it's Travis Etienne. Dude's electric. Every time he touches that ball, it's electric. Now, will he have 5 defenders unblocked running past the offensive line or the ghost of what was the offensive line on these plays? You hope not, because if you see that, you're completely wasting it. But that being said, if things go to plan, if the offensive line looks good, if they hold up their end of the bargain, if they do what they're supposed to do, I feel like Travis Etienne is going to be all of that $6.7 million in value. And then finally, not Jaguars related, but breaking as soon as we hit the show. Can you pot up my hotkeys if you don't mind? Breaking news, Travis Kelce signing a big extension today. Now, the final numbers I haven't seen yet, but right before we went on the air, Rappaport was reporting Kelce signs a deal that presumably makes him the highest paid tight end, whatever that means. Do they mean total money, cumulative cash? Do they mean average annual salary? I see you feverishly typing in there. I'm assuming you're trying to look it up right now. But the reality is, what's interesting to me isn't necessarily how they get to the milestone. It's that this man, who is 34, 35 years old by the time the next season starts, is making the most money of his entire career.
Tom Pelissaro says 2 years and $34.25 million remaining on the old deal.
Correct.
Kelce's now guaranteed. Yeah, no, he just signed. They don't have the numbers yet.
Yeah, so basically he had a rookie deal through 16, maybe 13 through 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then he signs a big extension, 16 through 21. Reworks the extension in 21 to get a little more of a jump, a little more pop on that salary. And then once again, back out there reworking this deal going into the 24 season, his age 35 season.
He'll be 38 when this one's done.
Well, he won't make it to there, I don't think. But I do think he's locked in for the next 2 years. If he's playing in his age 37 year, I don't think it'll be at the number they've got assigned to. I feel like he'll be giving some of that back to the Hunt family as they beg for a new stadium. But just interesting to me that here's a guy who came into the league and has just made more and more money as he's gotten older, has shown that he's maybe one of the best tight ends of all time, if not the best tight end offensively of all time. But, you know, back in his prime, he was making a pittance. Small chump change compared to what he's pulling down now. The dream still exists, Justin.
First comment under that is still not as much as his girlfriend.
Do you know who the top paid tight end in the NFL is? I'm going to save you here from being on the spot. The answer is no, you don't know, because he doesn't play.
Oh.
He doesn't play. Darren Waller signed a contract with the Las Vegas Raiders back in 2022 for a ridiculous amount of money. It works out to about $17 million a year. Then he doesn't play for them that year, essentially. Goes to the Giants, doesn't really play for him that year either. Goes into the offseason, and the story there is he's thinking about retiring. Very close to retirement. That's what playing with Daniel Jones will do to you. Staring $17 million in the face, you're like, maybe we leave this one at home. Maybe we don't touch this paycheck. Hawkinson right behind him at 16.5. I guess theoretically, Kelce gets more than the 17 whenever these numbers come out. Maybe it just works out that way with the guarantees.
I did see that his brother, Jason Kelce's, headed to ESPN for Monday Night Football.
It's actually been a lot of news out of the broadcast booth today. CBS doing a little bit of a shakeup as well. We can talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, Kelce on the Monday Night Studio team is going to be enormous. He's a monster personality. Monster person. I never get tired of watching Jason Kelce.
No.
Just so likable. And so I think he's going to do great for them. But yeah, we're getting to that point where all these guys, it's the old guard. We're going to have to start turning some of them over. Esiason is out at CBS. They're putting Matt Ryan in there. Like, you saw what you needed from Matt Ryan last year?
That's like the sign that you're getting old when you know, like, you can remember those guys playing. It's like, I remember growing up being like, my dad's so old. He knew these announcers when they played sports, and now I am.
You're the old.
Now I am the old.
You are the old. Congratulations, you've made it. Not everyone gets to do that. Shout out to the olds. Hey, let's take a quick break because when we come back, I want to dive into some of these draft picks the Jacksonville Jaguars made Friday through Sunday. I'll give you a little recap on who they are, what their strengths are, what their possible weaknesses might be, and we'll talk a little bit about what to expect from them in the coming football season. It's the Aaron Schachter Show. If you got thoughts on the Jaguars draft, I definitely want to hear about it. 904-362-9901. That's 904-362-9901. Back in a minute on the Aaron Schachter Show.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
More sunshine and more mild weather on this Monday. Our daytime highs will be in the upper 70s and low 80s. With that sunshine, temps will be just a little bit cooler out at the beaches with a brisk east wind. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sema.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamond. April means it's buy one, get one on wedding bands, only at Beard's Diamonds. Spring has sprung, and tax return season is here. Now's the time to beautify your home by replacing your old windows with new energy-efficient, easy-to-clean windows from American Window Products. Keep the summer heat out with special glass packages, including low E3 and argon gas. American Window Products only uses the highest quality products and professionally trained employees to install. Call now to find out why they were voted the #1 window company in Jacksonville. 731-2247 for a free estimate, or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Hey, boss, did you see the latest article in the Crooks R Us newsletter?
No, but I'm sure it's going to involve Safe Touch and probably give me a rash.
It says more people than ever are concerned about security, and Safe Touch Security, of course, is leading the way with new cutting-edge security systems.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it goes beyond security, too. Now Safe Touch has systems integrated with the home's thermostats, lights, door locks, and of course the encrypted security cameras.
Yeah, never home alone and never away from home. I remember the slogan.
Ooh, and now Safe Touch is running a special for existing customers to upgrade their system.
Look, Skippy, this changes nothing. The Crooks R Us golden rule is still in effect. Stay away from Safe Touch
houses. Yeah.
Now go find us a house without Safe Touch.
Got it, boss.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Right now, existing Safe Touch customers can upgrade their system at 50% off. Call 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license EF 2000-1945.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Wenner, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial ** invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
They're called zombie homes, and they're infecting local neighborhoods.
I'm scared because you don't know who's going to be in the neighborhood.
Drug deals, trespassing, why more than 1,000 local homes are vacated and left for dead.
It's not just the cost to the city, it's the cost to the neighbors.
Action News Jax investigates what the city of Jacksonville is doing to protect your property values.
It just creates this endless cycle of community decline.
Zombie homes. Today at 5:45 on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/
the right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey guys, we're the Twin Peaks Girls. Come have lunch with us every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and listen to the Young and Norvell Show on ESPN 690.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show. I'm Aaron Schachter. With me for the next hour and a half is Justin Cousart behind the glass. Shout out to Brian Middleton, who's got a travel day.
B. Ryan.
Taking care of some stuff. Middleton returns tomorrow for all you Midletonians. That's what we call the Middleton fans. The Middletonians.
Middletonians.
You give them a little flair. Midletonians. Looking at all the draft picks the Jaguars have acquired after the weekend of draft extravaganza. Obviously, Brian Thomas Jr. was picked Thursday night, 23rd overall after the big trade down. But what did the Jaguars do after that? Well, at 48 overall, they pick up Mason Smith, defensive tackle out of LSU. Well, LSU teammate action going on for Brian Thomas Jr. And let's not stop there. Round 3. The Jags go for Jarrian Jones out of FSU. Shout out to the Knowles. You're home for Seminole football right here, ESPN 690. In the 4th round with the 114th pick, the Jags took Javon Foster as an offensive tackle out of Mizzou. At 116, 2 picks later, they go back to LSU. They go back to the pipeline. They take another defensive tackle. 2 defensive tackles, both from LSU. This one, Jordan Jefferson. We'll talk about him in a second. DeAndre Prince is in the 5th round at 153. He's a corner. Then they pick Killian Robinson, who's a running back / kick returner out of Texas. That's with the 167 in round 5. In round 6 at 212, they pick up Cam Little, a kicker out of Arkansas. And then finally in round 7 at pick 236, they pick up Miles Cole, a defensive end out of Texas Tech. So what should be the expectation for these draft picks? If you haven't heard much from them or about them, we can review quickly. We don't have to deep dive. I'll just tell you what you need to be looking out for. For instance, Mason Smith. As far as the defensive tackles go, where this guy excels, where he is in really high percentiles, he's a big dude for a defensive tackle. I mean, not just a large man at 306 pounds, but a large man at 6'5" and 1/8. I mean, he is a tall dude in the middle of that line. He's the 93rd percentile for that height, by the way. Also in the 95th percentile for the wingspan. Giant wingspan. Giant arm length. Above average in the 40-yard dash for a big fella. Above average for a vertical jump for a big fella. I mean, high athletic. Dane Brugler, speaking of the Athletic, writes for the Athletic. Here's what he had to say about Mason. He says, overall, he's a traits-based prospect. Size, movement skills, and pop at contact. I remember Balky talking about how he's a violent rusher. The inexperience is evident, according to Brugler on tape. Inconsistent technique, block recognition, and rush plan. That's where this kid will need to develop in the NFL. And teams covet 6'5", 300-pound athletes on the defensive line. Those types are in short supply in this draft class. Jacksonville grabbed one with this pick. That's Mason Smith right there at defensive tackle. Now we look over at Jarrian Jones, who's the corner out of FSU. And Jones, where he excels, is in speed, obviously as a corner, 89th percentile in the 40-yard dash. But vertical jump, too, kid's got some hops. 86th percentile on the vertical jump. Broad jump, also 87th percentile. So he can be a go-up-and-get-it kid. According to Dane, he says overall, Jones has impressive athletic profile. His inside-outside experience is a plus, so versatile. He can play on the sidelines. He can play in the slot. But he does play too reactionary, according to Dane Brugler. Needs to be better at picking up on route clues to survive in the NFL. He projects as a potential reserve and a special teamer. So a lot of people I know are hoping that Jerry Jones will compete here to be a starter. Time will see. Time will see if J-Dub is able to break into the starting role at corner for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's talk Javon Foster. Javon Foster, who spent a lot of time at Missouri with the 114th pick. We're talking about an offensive tackle here, and where he excels in terms of the numbers in his wingspan, large man, large arms, arm length as well, but really the vertical jump. As far as tackles go, the guy can jump out of the building. Now, when you compare it to a big-time wide receiver, it might look a little bit different. But as far as tackles go, this kid can move. He's got the ability. Very athletic. He's not a great bender in that sense. The footwork and technique must continue to improve, says Dane Brugler over The Athletic. But the size, the strength, the functional movements, it's all a solid foundation. Any NFL team looking for a developmental prospect would enjoy working with this kid. Projects as a backup left tackle with a chance to be more. And on this team, I think he's got that opportunity. Granted, we do have a little bit of a glut at the tackle with Cam Robinson, Walker Little, Anton Harrison, and a few of the guys that were on the team last year. But if you're talking developmental prospect, this is the kind of team where you draft one of those two. You've got the opportunity to sit this kid behind one or two guys to really learn from them for a year or two before being called into service, unless everything goes wrong like it went last year on the offensive line and you end up calling him into service a little earlier than you had hoped. Let's talk about Jordan Jefferson. He's the other LSU kid who was really, by the way, a West Virginia kid. I mean, he essentially spent 4 years at West Virginia and then came over to LSU in his final year. And boy, what a year was it for him. And he parlayed that into an NFL career, hopefully. He really shows up in his size, on his weight, 313 pounds, big run stuffer in the middle of that line. Vertical jump for a big guy is impressive, but strong. Kid is 87th percentile in the bench. Here's Dane Brugler from The Athletic. He says, overall, he needs to develop his technical efficiency so he can be more disruptive, but his burst off the ball, the upper body strength, they can give him an early advantage into battle. He projects as a rotational lineman on the interior who still has some upside left there. I like that. All these guys are rotational on the defensive line these days anyway. So now we have a real explosive one with huge upper body strength, pushing people around to go along with the rotation of the other fellas in the middle. Not a bad pick. DeAndre Prince is the next guy we'll talk about. Prince was selected out of Ole Miss at 153 overall. He's a cornerback. And let's talk about some of his measurables. Because in the 40-yard dash, he was in the 89th percentile, but in that 10-yard split, which is slightly different than the 40-yard dash, but a little more reactionary as a drill, 97th percentile. That's big time right there. 97th percentile. Really, the kid is all speed if you look at his measurables. Dane says overall, he's got a tough time staying connected to NFL-level route runners, especially in off coverage, but he can make up for it with his speed and his toughness, especially on special teams. And that may be what he's looking at here as far as an assignment goes. He'll stand out once he gets into an NFL camp, but projecting best as a press man corner, which you know is what we're looking for on the defense this year with Ryan Nielsen and Chris Richards. And he's going to have a chance to make the bottom of the NFL roster or a practice squad as well. So high hopes there for brand new DeAndre Prince for the Jacksonville Jaguars, selected 153rd overall. Let's talk about Killian Robinson, who's a running back. And we heard that Doug wanted to continue to fill out the running back room. You know you've got 3 in there right now. You want more coming, and here they come. So Killian Robinson, where does he excel? He excels at that same 10-yard split, the 40-yard dash, as you would expect running backs to do. The broad jump, though, 87th percentile. 87th percentile. He is not a big guy, weighing in at 191 pounds. You weigh more than him?
We're about the same.
How's that make you feel? You're like an athlete, an NFL athlete.
I like to think I'm an athlete. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you and him are in the 5th percentile for running back weight. Way to go on that.
What do you think this pick had to do a little bit with the Jags' decision with ETN?
I don't, actually.
Okay.
I don't. I just think they're bringing in more dudes to develop in that running back room to see if there's an upgrade possible. The reality is you drafted Bigsby pretty high last year. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think they like what they saw at the end of the year. And you have Dearness Johnson, who I believe they re-signed in the offseason. They liked him as a blocker. He ended up pulling more weight than that because they couldn't necessarily trust Bigsby as much last year in the beginning, and because ETN needed a bit of a breather, a little bit of a spell. So I think Dearness Johnson got a little more work than they were expecting, but I also think Dearness Johnson delivered a little more than the franchise was expecting. And so when it comes to how this guy will be used, Killian Robinson, I'm not sure that he will be, but if he is, you can bet it will be sparingly. All right. Cam Little is the next pick we could talk about at 212 out of Arkansas.
Kicker.
You really start to wonder how the Jaguars feel about the kicking situation. I mean, clearly they don't feel settled about it because they picked a kicker, but it seemed like they were going through a rotation of kickers every couple of weeks there for a while, a couple of seasons ago. They end up making the trade for McManus. Everyone was happy about that, it seemed, for the season. Then it got a little wobbly there at the end, and now suddenly we're drafting a kicker. You kind of wonder where everyone sits, how everyone feels about everybody. Maybe it's just a little camp competition, a little practice squad action. Here's an overview from Lance Zierlein over at NFL.com. He says Little generates good velocity into the ball. He hits it with consistency. He's going to leave some kicks out on the right on misses, but you're not going to see any dead pulls. He's got the leg strength for the league. He just needs to become more automatic on kicks from 40 to 49 yards out, something that we feel like McManus actually does pretty well. Am I missing something? Is McManus still on the team? Did I miss that day?
No, I thought it was Patterson. Riley Patterson, no?
Did they bring Riley back?
Because
they had Brandon McManus last year.
McManus is on the Commanders.
Oh, so he's gone already.
Yeah.
Well, that makes a little more sense, though. Riley Patterson had been on the Jaguars, and then I think they ditched him when they picked up McManus.
Yeah.
And then I guess they've brought him back. I must have missed that.
Yeah, they said that they brought him back this offseason. Yeah, kicked for the team in 2022. And McManus is on the Commanders.
Clearly, it makes a lot more sense now why they would draft a kicker, just in case. A little insurance policy, and you need a backup on the team. All right, Cam Little, welcome to the team. Miles Cole is the final draft pick for the Jaguars. Miles Cole is considered as developmental as it gets at the edge, but his measurables are somewhat impressive. I mean, fairly impressive from Miles Cole's 92nd percentile in weight, 98th percentile in wingspan, 99th percentile in arm length. Just a big dude. Covers a lot of space while not moving. But as a defensive end, you know you're going to have to move. Here's Dane from The Athletic. Cole's a persistent power rusher. He drives with that leg and elite length. Although his immature instincts rushing the passer and setting the edge, it's going to make him a project in the NFL. His tools are more interesting than his playmaking talent, but he still has room to develop. He can give a defense quality snaps as a 3 technique or on the edge. Granted, he's not going to be asked to play a ton this year. Developmental prospect. That being said, he's learning behind the right guys. He's got a couple of great influences on that Jaguars front who could really help him transform his career into a lengthy, consistent one. Be interesting to see how that develops for Miles Cole, if at all this season, but certainly for a couple of seasons ahead of that. And that was pretty much the entire draft class, rounds 1 through 7. As far as the grades around the league, the national media, all over the chart. Nate Davis from USA Today, I saw, gave him a C, but you had a couple of guys give it a Chad Reuter from NFL.com, give him an A-.
Yeah, but what did they give everybody else? I always, you know what I mean? How tough are they grading?
I understand. You want to know if we're graded on a curve here.
Well, it's like if everybody's gotten A's and B's and we got an A-, well, then we're in the middle, I guess, which is a C.
I mean, it's all over the place. You got Mel Kiper with a B-. Danny Kelly from The Ringer with a C+. Tampa Bay Trevor Sikkema from PFF gave it a B. But Ben Arthur from Fox Sports gave it an A-. Just know that the ceiling, as far as the national media was concerned, was an A- from NFL.com, Fox Sports, and maybe one or two others. The floor was a C.
Okay.
That was USA Today. Sports Illustrated gave us a C. Yahoo Sports gave us a C. And then everyone fell in between there. But here's the reality, Justin. You just don't know till they get on the field.
Yeah.
You're not going to see it until you see it. And so, we can look at all the mock drafts and go, well, you picked this guy too high because my mock said he was going at 17 and you end up picking him at whatever. But what does it matter if the guy ends up being a baller on the field? This is why I was laughing so much at the Penix pick. Because even if it's a disaster between Penix and Cousins over in Atlanta, if Michael Penix ends up being a franchise quarterback, it was worth it.
Sure, but And the counter to that is you just signed Kirk Cousins for 4 years. So
it's terrible resource management.
Yeah, you're not giving him another weapon or another thing to help him essentially win now, which is what you are if you have Kirk Cousins.
Agree. And I actually do think they have the weapons to win now with Kirk Cousins. But to the original point, that's not part of the conversation.
Yeah.
The conversation is, did you reach? Did you pick him too early? Everyone had him graded in round 2. You picked him at 8. Who cares if he's the franchise? If it works, now. If it does not work.
That's a lose your job kind of pick.
Completely.
Yeah.
The gig is done. And not just for the Terry Fontenot, but for Raheem Morris as well.
Yeah.
The GM and the head coach. Hey, let's take a break as you figure out who's giving us a line there on the Aaron Schachter hotline. It's the Aaron Schachter Show. We're here up until 5 o'clock on ESPN 690, 904-362-9901. If you want to do like whoever's on the other end of that line, but I have a sneaking suspicion it's a fishy listener. The Aaron Schachter Show, back in a minute.
ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. We have 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. All you have to do is enter the correct keyword at ESPN690.com to be eligible to win.
This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply.
ESPN 690 Pays Your Bills is presented by Underwood Jewelers. 3 Jacksonville locations in San Marco, Ponte Vedra Beach, and Avondale.
Weekdays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2, and 5 p.m. Tune in to win from ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey there, business ballers and entrepreneurs. Ready to make your financial dreams come true? Well, get ready to score big with SwishFunding.com, the slam dunk solution for all your business funding needs. Just like that satisfying swish when the ball goes in, SwishFunding.com guarantees you a seamless funding experience. Working capital, expanding your business, upgrading your equipment, or even covering payroll. If you have at least $25,000 in monthly revenue and been in business for at least 1 year, qualifying is easier than a layup. At Swish Funding, we fund up to $5 million in 24 hours. SwishFunding.com's team will guide you every step of the way. No more banking red tape, just quick, decisive action to get you back in the game. Head over to SwishFunding.com and slam dunk your financial goals today. Remember, it's not just a shot in the dark, it's a surefire swish. Go to SwishFunding.com. That's SWISH funding.com. SwishFunding.com.
Are you passionate about addressing health disparities and improving the health of your neighbors? You could be the next American Heart Association First Coast Leader of Impact. Join the 2023 class of changemakers and compete to raise funds for life-saving research and inspire lasting change in our community. The campaign kicks off on World Heart Day, September 29th. Nominate yourself or another local leader by contacting AHA First Coast at heart.org today.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Jacksonville Cougars. It's me, Soccer Sam from Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizzeria is now open in Jacksonville, Florida. Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. $10 daily deals, dine-in, beer and wine, and delivery. Salvatores.com.
Victim of a slip and fall? It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. Anajar and Levine will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call me, Mark Anajar, for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville. Attention, men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Febreze. Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week. Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, you know I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. And look at you, hands perfectly placed on the wheel. Not like the driver to the right of you who's really going after that drum solo. Save with DriveWise in the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey guys, we're the Twin Peaks girls. We just love guys that listen to the Young and Norvell Show. Weekdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Back on the Aaron Schachter Show. Here with you guys up until 5 on ESPN 690. We're going to jump right into it. Solid Take Brian is on the phone, I'm assuming. Solid Take, you want to talk about the Jaguars draft. So what's your solid take on the haul? What do you got?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Hello?
Yeah, I don't think Solid Take can hear us, which is unfortunate.
Oh, I can hear you now.
All right, good. All right. Go ahead, man. Give me your solid take.
Just wanted to, talk on the draft, man. I'm not disappointed. I can definitely say this definitely is not one of our worst drafts ever.
You sound a little disappointed.
I'm not mad. I'm just a little disappointed.
No, well, I tell you what, you called it on the Brian Thomas. You were saying that for a long time. Me personally, I thought with Mitchell sitting there, Quinyon Mitchell, I said, man, we should take him.
Yep.
Because I just know that he's 100% without. I have more questions with Brian being W1, well, wide receiver 1 than I did Quinyon being a shutdown corner.
I'm not even convinced that's what they drafted him for.
Right. So you're right about that. But I just saw the potential more with Mitchell.
I was with
you. Brian, you never know. You have to have an over-the-top receiver to open up the offense, to have that constant threat at all times. So that does open up the offense.
But what do you think about the rest of the haul? They tried to plug the middle of the defensive line. They tried to add a little bit of depth to the corner and running back rooms, and they grabbed a kicker late. What do you think?
I loved it. I'm a big man, and I believe in
other big men.
I believe in having hogs on that defensive line, man.
That's what you got, man.
Look back at the old Henderson and Stroud days.
Oh yeah.
I'm not comparing them to skill wise to Henderson and Stroud.
No, but those were big dudes, the Twin Towers in the middle defensive line, absolutely.
Yeah. Big dudes, and even though they're going to be backups this particular year, that just means at all times, whether the starting lineup or the backup, you're gonna have to deal with some hogs up front. So I love that part.
Big men to move up front for sure.
And Trent, and it was kind of, and I guess my tone is sort of sounding a little bored, but Trent did exactly what he said he was going to do. Trent and coach, the new defensive coordinator, they did exactly what they said they were going to do.
They did.
Big size at the skill positions, and we want press corners. We want to play man. They said that in their press conference, and they did exactly that. It was no surprises.
I do wonder if they're done. Brent Martineau, I was asking him on the phone the other day if they were stockpiling some cash, go out and maybe just make one more move after the draft to solidify the roster. He thinks it's more like a midseason run if you're making a run at the Super Bowl and you have a situation like last year when Chase Young became available or Montez Sweat or any of those guys became available. He thinks the Jaguars want to be flexible enough to make that move. And knowing what I know about what you're talking about, the anticlimacticism of this franchise, it's not even a word, Justin. Don't make the face. I'm just making it up. But
Yeah,
to the
they're
point,
predictable.
it's never exciting, right? It's always the safe conservative choice. That being said, a lot of times that's how you make a winner. But
oh yeah, no doubt, I give them a B.
I'm with you though.
B, but when you look at the Eagles, every chance they get the best player you can think of imaginable. Look, they came out with those two corners, and it was like, how in the world did they do this?
Yes.
Last year, it was the Georgia boys. How did they get that linebacker?
How'd they do it?
The defensive lineman. How in the world? And they did it again.
Does it give you a little bit of jealousy when you see other franchises able to pull this off on a regular basis?
In particular, the Eagles. They do it every year. It's like, but I do give the Jags a B. I do give them a B. They also did not address the pass rush. We have the same exact pass rush, even though they're productive. But you would think they would add just a little bit more to it with the depth.
I appreciate the call, Solid Take. Thank you so much for joining the show. I will say this about the pass rush. I do think it's an improved pass rush for a couple of reasons. First of all, you added a whole Eric Armstead to the thing. But second of all, with your new defensive coordinator and his desire to move some of these guys around the line, Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker. You heard Devin Lloyd for the first time talking about putting his hand in the dirt, maybe getting after the quarterback. It's something he did in college pretty well, actually. It's something we thought he was going to do when he came to Jacksonville, be a guy who's blitzing the quarterback on a regular basis. We may see more of that moving forward. Certainly you're returning some guys on that line, and now you're adding the young pups as well. I do think they added a little bit to the push. The question is it substantial enough? Are you adding another 5 sacks? Are you adding another 10 with all the things I just listed? Are you adding anything at all? Will you stop the run? I think becomes an extremely important question because I can tell you the answer was no in the last half of the season last year. Certainly during the collapse, an embarrassment. So hopefully they address that with some of these picks and some of the changes made so far in the offseason. It's the Aaron Schachter Show. We're going to take a quick break for the Sports Center. Back on the other side with lots more to do. 904-362-9901. Back at ESPN 690.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy? Totalmente. And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan, at an amazing price, with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely. Totalmente. Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate with autopay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
Bueller Air Conditioning presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, a corporate management manager from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Les Blankston.
Yeah, hi, Bob.
That is a remarkably beige suit there, Les. Tell us, why are you on the show?
Well, I just replaced my old air conditioner with a new one from Bueller, and I'm just so comfortable these days. I wondered, am I cool now?
Let's find out, Les. Go ahead and spin the wheel.
That's right, Les. By upgrading your old AC to a more energy-efficient model from Bueller Air Conditioning, you'll save money, save energy, and proudly show your family that you are cool.
Ooh, do you think I should get a mohawk?
Pace yourself, Les.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
They're called zombie homes, and they're infecting local neighborhoods.
I'm scared because you don't know who's going to be in the neighborhood.
Drug deals, trespassing, why more than 1,000 local homes are vacated and left for dead.
It's not just the cost to the city, it's the cost to the neighbors.
Action News Jax investigates what the city of Jacksonville is doing to protect your property values.
It just creates this endless cycle of community decline.
Zombie homes. Today at 5:45 on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
Hi, I'm Mike Lister, the founder of Talon Wealth and the host of the Gardner Nest Egg radio show.
Like you, I love this country, and I'm very thankful for those that protect us along with our freedoms. That's why for active military and active first responders, if you decide to work with us, Talon Wealth isn't going to charge you any advisor fees. We're happy to explain all the details, but most importantly, thank you for your service.
Visit guardingyournestegg.com to find out more.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Lord license D056341.
My son and I just built a rabbit hutch for 2 bunnies he got the girls for Easter. That gives them a dog, 3 cats, a snake, a gecko, and 2 bunnies. At Zerez, we love pets. If you're a pet lover and need some help cleaning up after those furry friends, give Zerez a call. For April, Zerez is offering 25% off on all floor cleaning services. That's 25% off the cleaning of your carpets, tile and grout, vinyl and wood floors, and your area rugs. Zerez, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zerez.
Live from the Anajar and Levine studios, Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Travis Kelce's not riding off into the sunset with Taylor Swift just yet. The All-Pro tight end agreed on a 2-year, $34 million extension with the Chiefs, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Schefter also reports the Cowboys and running back Ezekiel Elliott agreed on a 1-year deal. Nuggets point guard Jamal Murray, questionable Game 5 of the first-round NBA playoff series tonight against the Lakers due to a calf strain. Denver's only 1 win away from moving on to the second round. But it won't get that victory tonight, believes ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins.
They have no answer for Anthony Davis. He has been torching the Denver Nuggets and Jokic this series. And if you could get a little bit out of Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell, just need them to be good. If they could be good and get you around 15 points apiece, the Lakers are going to win this Game 5.
NHL, Seattle fired coach Dave Haxtell after the franchise took a significant step back following a playoff run in Season 2. Twins shortstop Carlos Correa set to return from a strained ribcage tonight against the White Sox. He's missed the last 16 games.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. Close Shave America, Close Shave Barbasol.
Who is this guy? Aaron Shafting? What is it? Oh, Schachter? Schachter. Okay. Shack Attack. Schachter. He gets shacked. But I digress. Here we go.
You ready? Yeah. Turn up your radio.
The Aaron Schachter Show on ESPN 690.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show. We are live on ESPN 690 up until 5 p.m. today. Having some fun with you, recapping the NFL Draft that completed over the weekend. We've talked a lot about football today. Still a couple of stories that we got to get to, but we'll pause those for a second and talk NBA. Before we get there, I do want to revisit a couple of stories making the rounds. We don't got to get deep, Justin, but I do want to remind people, it's come out as we started the show. Travis Kelce signed a contract extension. A 2-year extension is going to make him the highest paid tight end in the league right now. That belongs to Darren Waller at $17 million a year. If you're wondering where Darren Waller has been, you're not the only ones. He had signed a deal with New York and barely played with them last year. Now contemplating retirement. Not sure where that's going with him, but you know, for Travis, retirement is a distant thought, at least for the next 2 years. Also in the news that we have not discussed, did you see Tank Dell got shot in Florida? The big-time Houston Texans wide receiver, rookie from last year, surprised everybody, ended up breaking his leg, was hanging out in Sanford. I think it was a private event at a club. Fist fight breaks out. Suddenly, some 16-year-old starts popping off some shots. 10 people got hit. 10 people.
Messy.
All below the waist. Leg and knee and thigh shots. Maybe a calf shot here or there. No one died, though, I think, if that's still the case. They're calling him Tank Dell. Apparently had a minor wound. I think he's already been released from the hospital. The Texans and the Dell family asking for some privacy, which I doubt they will get much of at this point. especially when it comes to a shooting in Sanford with a big-time football player. That being said, is what it is. So we can dig into that a little bit later. I did want to touch on the NBA playoffs, though, because the action is starting to heat up. It is starting to get a little bit squirrely in some of these games. But, Justin, I'd like to start with your Philadelphia 76ers, as I tend to do whenever you're in that room. You're a big Philly guy.
Yeah.
Born and raised out there.
Yeah.
And so when you watch the boys, Joel Embiid and Maxey and Tobias Harris and all these dudes, and you look at them down 3-1 after last night's loss, 97-92 at home. Give me your thoughts right off the top of your head.
It's over.
Now, to the credit of the Sixers, you said it was over at 2-0.
Yeah,
I did. Fought back and won one of those.
Yes, but it took a 50-point attempt from Joel Embiid to do that. And in that game, although I will say Jalen Brunson played pretty well in that game, I just don't think I don't think the Sixers got it this year. I don't know. You're not getting enough from everybody else. Joel Embiid's too hobbled, even though hobbled is still putting up 20-plus points per game and 10-plus rebounds. It's just not enough.
Yeah, hobbled Joel Embiid last night, 27 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, but 4 turnovers.
And was very upset with the Knicks fans being louder than the Philly fans, and he's embarrassed by it.
Philly, New York makes for a great rivalry, and it wasn't a rivalry for a long time. And I'm not sure if you call it one now.
Well, mainly because both teams were so bad.
Well, for a while, they were both bad together.
Right.
But then when one's good, one's not often.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not the case now as they're starting to pass each other in the night, one ascending, one descending. But the cities are so close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Always makes for a great rivalry when rival teams are like right down the road.
Well, and because all the fans can travel.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not far.
Yeah. But you mentioned Brunson's night, 18 of 34. You're taking 34 shots
but
from
that's his
Jalen
thing.
Brunson.
Yeah, that's what he does for the Knicks. Like that's it.
34 shots?
Yes, that's what they do. That's what they do, and Brunson is efficient enough to win.
18 of 34, 2 of 8 from the perimeter, but 9 of 11 from the free throw line. When you take 34 as Jalen Brunson, you're going to make your way to the line. 10 assists, 4 rebounds, and plus 10 when he was on the floor for his 47 points. Knicks really getting almost nothing from the bench. Miles McBride really with the only contributions to speak of off the bench, 13 points and a couple of rebounds. But nothing from Bogdanovich and nothing from Achua. You think it's over here? There's no chance whatsoever for Philly to pull out.
It was over when they were up 2-0, 2-0, whatever you want to call it. When they were, it's over.
Okay, so then we move on to another bracket game in the East. This time we're talking about the Pacers and the Bucks. This was a series I thought the Pacers had before it started. I didn't necessarily see a sweep coming, but I did see something like this possibly developing, and I thought you had a little bit more of a belief in the Bucks, and I wasn't sure if that was based on possibly seeing Giannis in the series or what. I just didn't think Dame would be enough by himself, and right now the Bucks find themselves down 3-1 in the series.
Yeah, I underestimated Giannis's injury. I thought he was still going to be all right enough to
contribute.
And I thought Dame, ice in his veins, he was ready to go, and he got him one game, but it seems like for the Pacers, who had a just so fast outscore you mentality this year, adding Pascal Siakam has been a huge part of that. And in this series, Pascal's got like 26 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Like, they're just the better team, even though their seeding says they're not. The Pacers are going to close this one out.
Yeah, the reality is the Pacers have multiple players they can lean on to get it done in crunch time. Where at this point, I feel like the Bucks are looking at Bobby Portis and Chris Middleton, and occasionally Brolo, Brook Lopez, and going, all right, you guys got to help us because we got nothing else going right now.
They are significantly missing, and we could also make a Doc Rivers joke here, but they're significantly missing Drew Holiday and his defensive presence.
It's interesting you want to point out Doc Rivers, but there's clearly a hobbled Bucks team.
Sure. Doc Rivers, though they brought him in to try to fix everything. They brought Doc in to do that and help out. Yes, they're hobbled, but you would expect the coach to be able to try some different lineups.
I'm not fully convinced they brought in Doc Rivers to fix everything. It felt like Doc Rivers was like third man on the list. I'm the only one who was saying yes at the time.
No, it was like an inside job. While they were still with their old coach, Doc was in to like help mentor a little bit. And the next thing you know, the coach is fired and Giannis is like, well, that guy wanted to trade my brother. You know, a little bit comes back to Giannis being upset that the guy mentioned that his brother might get traded. So Giannis gets that coach out.
Well, this is what happens when you are the star. You get to dictate those terms.
But if you're the star and you want to win and your brother hasn't played a game and is just eating up money, it's time to go. It's time to get a new player on the team that could contribute. You know, I also read that there was a point where Giannis didn't go with one sneaker deal because they weren't sure they were going to be able to give his brother a deal.
Look, shout out to Giannis. It's all for the family.
Sure.
By the way, his brother got his 2 minutes last night.
Good.
So you can calm down. All right?
Good. You know what? Doc took note and said, I got to get his brother in.
You can just calm down with all that Doc besmirchment. Because there was an Atutu on the floor last night. And he got himself some 2 minutes. He was actually 1 of 2 from the floor, I think. Nope. Just kidding. No shots on him. He did have a block, though.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Got to give him credit for that. Over in the West, a series I've been surprised by. But you actually predicted this before the series started. I thought the Mavs were going to walk away with this series in either a sweep or a 4-1. And now they're all tied up 2-2 with the Clippers. And it's gotten pretty interesting here.
Yeah, it took a second for them to figure out. I think it was game 2 when Kawhi came back and they lost to the Mavericks, and I think it was them just kind of figuring out the flow with Kawhi again. But yeah, it does feel like they're cooking. James Harden's going off, which is, you know, he hasn't had his regular James Harden playoff vibe go down where all of a sudden he's not as good or whatnot. But when you got a team with that many stars, you would imagine you're able to get it done. Now, I do like Luka, and his defense has been phenomenal. I just wonder if they're just outmatched a little bit with the stars. I think this one goes 7 regardless.
Interesting. I still don't think it's going to go 7, although at 2-2, it's got to go at least 6.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't believe the Clippers, when it's all said and done, can run with the Mavericks. It's just an older, more hobbled team. You still don't have Leonard now, even though you got him back for a little bit. Paul George doing his thing. Certainly last night, 33 points. You can say the same for James Harden. You mentioned him previously, obviously 33 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, both doing their thing. But when it comes to the Mavericks, man, Luka's just too much. He's everywhere. And then Kyrie out there scoring 40. You don't really think about it, but aside from being a tremendous ball handler, Kyrie can score from nearly everywhere on the court. Like, he's almost as good a low post guard as there is in the league, and he can score from the perimeter as well. He went, 6 of 12 from three-point last night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the kid can shoot the lights out. Not even a kid anymore. Now he's an old dude. But he can shoot the lights out, and he's a great ball handler, and they don't even ask him to really distribute that much. I think the Mavericks are way overpowered when it comes to this Clippers series, and I definitely see the Mavs taking the next 2 in a row. We get to this Timberwolves game next. This is the one that I feel like we talk about the Timberwolves more than any other team we're not attached to or connected to.
Yeah.
Neither one of us are necessarily a Timberwolves fan. Are you a Timberwolves fan?
I am now.
You like those guys?
You got Anthony Edwards doing the stuff to the fans. Like, come on. Yes, of course I am. He's in Kevin Durant's face.
Ant is a fun superstar.
He is
He's a fun superstar.
Budding superstar.
He's aggressive, and he makes it fun. And it couldn't be the more polar opposite of the guy he embarrassed in Kevin Durant.
He makes it unfun.
Kevin Durant definitely is a fun succubus.
Yeah.
Just draining every inch, every last drop of fun from anything that's happening on the court.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at you talking about Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal and all these guys on the Suns, and you wonder what happens next. Do you think Frank Vogel makes it to next year? Is he out?
I don't know what you do because you really mortgaged a lot of your future to get Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal.
Like breaking it up, you better be getting big-time picks back, but I doubt it's coming, not for Kevin Durant anymore.
No. Well, there is a floating rumor that Kevin Durant is going to go back to Oklahoma City, have a homecoming of his
they
own.
actually need the help, so that's good.
They don't.
Oh, I must have got that mixed up.
That's the problem. And so, I mean, depending on what that looks like, sure, maybe you get something back. But yeah, it stinks. It kind of feels like the Phoenix Suns went all in and missed.
They did.
Yeah.
That doesn't kind of feel. This is literally what had happened.
Yeah, it's a bummer. You feel bad for him, kind of.
Does it, if these guys were real estate properties, do you feel like Devin Booker's value of his home has gone down
No.
since sharing the same neighborhood as Kevin Durant?
No, Booker's
Because I
still...
look at him as less of a superstar for not being able to get this done.
Sure, he's not as big of a superstar because he's not the number one guy on the team now because Kevin Durant's there, but he's still in at least the series against the Timberwolves putting up 27.5 points and almost 7 assists a game. He's still a baller, and I think would be, very highly regarded around the league if put on the trading block. But if I'm the Suns, he's the one I'm not putting on the trading block.
No, I guess my point is to make the Golden State Warrior comparison.
Sure.
Booker, in terms of role, not necessarily position, Booker is not Steph, he's Clay.
Sure, that's fine. Yes. I'm okay with that.
And this is what I like. Before Durant got there, I thought Booker was Steph.
He was, yes.
I thought he was the guy that takes the team.
But that's what happens when you have a big three like that. You got to have a tier system in a way.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought the Durant thing would work. I was like, finally, Kevin Durant is on a team where not only does he not want to be the dude, he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be.
I think he still has to be.
He clearly does.
Yeah, wherever he goes, he has to be.
No, I don't think it's wherever, but certainly on this team, on the Nets before it, on the Golden State Warriors, he didn't have to be. It worked out pretty nicely for him.
In the playoffs, there were multiple games where he did have to be, and that's when he did do it. I think it feels like at times he doesn't want the pressure to have to do it 100% of the time. Where if he only has to do it 80% of the time, that's great. He could not check out, but he can let someone else take the reins for a little bit.
So tonight on the schedule, we did mention Oklahoma City earlier. They're in New Orleans, up 3-0 on the Pels. This one's over, is it not?
Zion's not even playing.
No, he's out for the playoffs.
It's over.
Boston in Miami. The series now 2-1. Boston leads.
How you let Miami even get a game without Jimmy Butler is embarrassing for the Celtics.
Well, what now?
The Celtics wax them. That's not even a thing. You played with your food, you realize, now button up and get out of this first round.
So you think this one ends 4-1 in another 2 games?
100%. Yeah.
All right. And then finally, L.A. and Denver. L.A. putting up somewhat of a fight, even though they're down 3-1. He seemed to be a little bit alive. AD doing his thing a little bit.
And Kendrick Perkins is out here being like, yeah, man, they're not winning this next one. It's Jokic, man. No, it's over.
And you don't think Anthony Davis has been playing well against Jokic, though?
He's been playing well. LeBron has also been playing well. But what has happened with Lakers teams every single year is nobody else around those guys is playing well.
Yeah. That's a fair assessment right there. There it is. Your NBA content on ESPN 690. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
This should be a fun night of games. And then we'll revisit this again tomorrow with Brian. We'll see where he's at on a bunch of these things.
He'll probably disagree with me in every single category.
So I like getting you on the record.
Yeah.
And then I go back and tell Brian like a little snitch. I drop a dime on you.
And I feel like we didn't hit on this enough. The Magic, Cavs, the Magic are turning it around. And I did not think they would do that.
So right now the series is tied 2-2, but their next game is tomorrow night.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Tomorrow night in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken.
But all the momentum feels on the Magic side right now.
You like what you've been seeing?
Yeah. Paulo's been balling out. Donovan's been doing okay for the Cavs. But Jared Allen's really been stepping up for him.
Did we miss any other games? That's the only game we didn't talk about.
Nope, that's the last one, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow. I don't know how we left that one out.
Yeah. Franz Wagner is, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. It feels like the young stars are really coming into their own on the Magic.
I don't think it's their year this year, to be honest with you. And I did going into the series. I was like, they got a shot here. But after seeing Spida and the boys play, I don't know. Maybe this one goes 7. Right now, tied 2-2. It's got to go 6 at a minimum.
I think it goes 7. But I think the Magic are gonna turn it around.
You want to put a little gentleman's wager?
Sure.
How many units would you like to put on it?
I don't know. Maybe we have to figure that out.
All right, you think about it a little bit. You know, I finally placed some NFL bets for next season.
Oh.
During the draft, I got excited.
You put them on the Jags?
Well, Not necessarily.
Not just like division or conference.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about winners. So here's what I did.
Okay.
I did a Super Bowl winner bet.
Ooh.
Because I got a bonus bet on it.
Yep.
So I did a $50 bonus bet for the Jets at plus 2,500.
Ooh.
So that would return $1,250
for a reason.
I mean, that's not a bad bet.
No, sure.
All right.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
How about this? Most valuable player. I was looking for value here.
Sure.
So I'm not trying to go, Pat
Chalky.
Mahomes or
Yeah.
something. I'm looking for value here. I found someone at plus 20,000 who I liked.
20,000. Okay.
Who I thought had a shot.
Jalen Hurts.
Non-quarterback.
Oh.
That's how you get to 20,000.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're looking at plus 5,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need a quarter. Well, because isn't it just always a quarterback for the most part?
Mostly, yes.
Yeah.
But when it's not a quarterback,
It's a defensive dude.
nah, it's like it's a McCaffrey type.
Oh.
It's someone
okay,
with
running
like
back.
3,000 all-purpose yards and 30 touchdowns.
Wow.
And I thought Bijan Robinson, with Kirk Cousins learning the offense, might be able to put up some hefty numbers. So I put $5 on Bijan.
Okay.
At plus 20,000, that pays back $1,005.
Okay.
And then finally, I did another MVP bet. I'm betting against myself.
Yeah. What's worse is if it's neither of these two and then you've lost twice.
Right, but if it's neither of these two, I've lost $10.
Okay.
So I know that $10 might be a lot to somebody, but for your boy Aaron, I've got it like that.
I mean, you're the host.
I've got it like
You're
that.
good like that.
$10, no big deal. I spit at your $10. Up to it. I got it like that. All right?
Sure,
We
okay.
ain't worried about a thing. You hear that, IRS? I got it like that. I picked Justin Jefferson with my second MVP. Again, non-quarterback, trying to get up a big. This is plus 10,000.
Do you wish you could undo that if they give him a deal?
I don't think they're I think they want to give him a deal. I don't think he's
Is that
taking
gonna
it.
happen? He wants out.
No, I don't know that he wants out. I think he's waiting on Jamar Chase specifically and CeeDee Lamb specifically.
Let you
I was
guys
actually
do your thing, and then
I was
I'm
going to
gonna
actually do a
outdo
whole
it.
segment on it just because I do think we saw a wide receiver market reset a few years ago with Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel. I think we're seeing it again here with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and these guys in front of them. And we could talk about that a little bit more later this week. But Justin Jefferson, Bijan Robinson, my two outside fringe MVP picks.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, Grandpa Rodgers, and the Ayahuasca Boys at plus 2,500 for the Jets to win the Super Bowl. That's my way too early offseason bets that I will be staring at for the next 11 months.
Yeah, I would have just taken $70 from you if you wanted to throw that cash.
Well, the bonus bet is $50. I really only spent real money on the two MVP
You could have sent me
bets.
$20 if you didn't want,
Could
want
I?
it. Didn't want it.
Had I known you would have accepted my money, Justin,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bet. I just
Okay.
would have. I just
Send
would have sent you more money.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I know for next time now. We got to take a break because when we come back, I need to talk to you about a YouTuber who fell out of a hang glider. And normally I probably wouldn't even do this story, but you specifically, I want to talk to you about this because you are all kinds of tapped in on influencer culture. and that's where we're going next on the Aaron Schachter Show. 904-362-9901. Back in a minute on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly to partly sunny skies with more mild afternoon highs in the low 80s in Jacksonville today. We'll be in the mid to upper 70s at the coast. And tonight will be clear and comfortably cool with overnight lows dipping into the low 60s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamond. April means it's buy one, get one on wedding bands, only at Beard's Diamonds.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
but it was actually our old detergent.
Aha!
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
I'm Mark Anajar.
I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
And we're Anajar and Levine. Experience the Anajar and Levine difference by calling us with any of your legal needs. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville Koozies. It's me, Soccer Sam from Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizzeria is now open in Jacksonville, Florida. Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. $10 daily deals, dine-in, beer and wine, and delivery. Salvatores.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, experience the thrill of the Kentucky Derby at Best Bet. Saturday, May 4th, witness the most exciting 2 minutes in sports and dive into the action with live wagering. This could be your lucky day. Mark your calendars and join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine on May 4th for the ultimate Kentucky Derby experience. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you've ever wondered why some jewelry stores and department stores always have a sale going at 50 to 75% off, there's a good reason. Because most of the time, they're not real sales. The prices are marked up so they can sell the piece at a big discount and still make the profit they need. If you wanted to find a realistic sales event, the store wouldn't run a year-round sale, and the discounts would be a little more realistic. For example, Underwoods puts all of our diamond solitaire necklaces and ear studs on sale in May at 15% below the prices we sell at the rest of the year. So there's a genuine savings to the customer. We also take trade-ins. So it's the ideal time to buy for someone looking to grow their pendant or ear studs up to a larger size. Now at Underwoods, we don't run a lot of sales, but when we do, they're real and a good time to buy. So come see us at Underwoods. San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Small business owners are faced with an endless array of challenges, and security for today's business is right up there at the top of the list. You should know that in addition to top-notch security systems, SafeTouch Security offers smarter solutions for your business. SafeTouch provides 24/7 video surveillance and a whole lot more. Get video alerts from motion detection cameras, customized and controlled from the mobile app. And introducing SafeTouch's Business Activity Analytics, which helps optimize how your business runs. Monitor crowd gathering, traffic flow, queue monitoring, and that's just the start. SafeTouch isn't just a security company. They're more like a business partner helping to keep an eye on your business. Now that's peace of mind. Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses, and SafeTouch businesses are no different. Right now, SafeTouch Security is offering a once-a-year deal which can save you up to 50% on your commercial-grade security package. Call 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license EF 2000-1945.
They're called zombie homes, and they're infecting local neighborhoods.
I'm scared because you don't know who's going to be in the neighborhood.
Drug deals, trespassing, why more than 1,000 local homes are vacated and left for dead.
It's not just the cost to the city, it's the cost to the neighbors.
Action News Jax investigates what the city of Jacksonville is doing to protect your property values.
It just creates this endless cycle of community decline.
Zombie homes. Today at 5:45 on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
Hey there, you in aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Hey guys, we're the Twin Peaks Girls. Come have lunch with us every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and listen to the Young and Norvell Show on ESPN 690.
Shout out to Flagler University. Proud alum. Flagler College. Justin Cousart, proud alum. They didn't necessarily teach you math out there, did they?
Not clock math.
Clock math is kind of disturbingly hard.
Clock math is confusing, man. It's not counting, by the way.
Man, you wanna see someone have some flop sweat. You want to see someone who looks like they've been put on the spot. Ask Justin to do some clock math. You see it all fall apart.
I'm not red because of the clock math. I'm red because of the sunburn. Yeah.
Likely story.
Yeah.
Well, this guy, Anthony Vella, is red, but it's not from a sunburn or the clock math.
Oh.
It's from a big injury. It's the Aaron Schachter Show with you guys up until 5 o'clock. And I brought this story to the table, Justin, because me and you, we talk about influencer culture all the time. Influencers in the wild are willing to do just about anything for attention. We've seen people pulling pranks who get shot or stabbed or beaten up, all kinds of nonsense. This guy wasn't necessarily doing pranks or anything like that, but still, Anthony Vella is a YouTuber, and for his channel, he was in a paraglider. If you've ever been out to the beach, you see these things all the time. It's like a dude sitting in a chair with a big ceiling fan behind him and a parachute up top.
There's one out in Jack's Beach that is always going up and down every weekend.
I see this dude with a couple of wild spins every once in a while when that wind picks up.
Makes me nervous, man. I had a friend who blew out his ACL doing windsurfing.
Okay.
And this seems more intense than that.
just a smidge. But, yeah, it always makes me nervous when I see him whipping around. Then I'm like, oh, he's over the water. How bad could it be?
You got to – what do you think that thing weighs? 25-pound fan on your back?
The paraglider, it's not on your back. It's strapped to the chair, I thought.
But you're strapped to the chair. So you hit that water. It's like one of those, those like water rockets. Then you're just flying through the water really fast.
Well, Anthony Vella filmed himself recently enjoying a ride in one of those motorized paraglide rides. He was out in Texas, but something goes horrifically wrong. So the internet personality begins to plummet to the ground. 85 feet.
Oof.
85 feet now. It's not jumping out of a plane high, but it's high enough to have the thought, I am so screwed, and you still got change on the other side waiting to hit the floor.
Yeah, you have time to, be panicking about it.
Now, it's not jumping out of a plane time. You did that before.
I did jump out of a plane. I did skydive. I also was just recently at iFly, so I also feel like I am qualified.
You're an expert, yeah.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It was windy.
I would hope so. End up like this guy.
It was windy. It was cold, man. But yeah, that would. What do you think goes through your mind during that? What do you think? 30 seconds
from 85 feet.
85 feet. A lot less.
I believe the only thing going through my mind is the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That falling feeling
when your guts get thrown into your throat. Yeah.
Although, fun fact, when you go skydiving, that feeling stops after 2 seconds once you fall as fast as gravity will let you fall.
Everything kind of normalizes a little bit.
Yes. So, you jump out of the plane and you're like, and then it stops and you're just feeling normal again.
Okay. But then you have all this time to, look around and think about it, whereas the 85 feet,
you don't have that time.
I feel like you're asking for more time.
Yeah, you're probably not. You probably fully haven't comprehended what is really going on.
What makes matters worse is that he was videoing.
So you saw the whole thing.
He was filming. And on the video, you hear him scream out in pain when he hits the ground. I guess he was yelling for Siri to call 911.
Yeah.
Sorry to anyone who just had their phone dial 911. It wasn't my intention.
No,
everyone nervously.
Siri, stop.
Everyone nervously checking their phone right now. But that was pretty smart. Had I fallen 85 feet to the ground, the first thing I'm thinking is hey, Google, make this phone call for me. And now I got to turn my phone off.
Yeah, right? but I think that's a big part of it. Technology helps. I wonder if this guy would have been able to do that if we didn't have, you know what I mean?
Well, some cars have crash detection where they'll call the police.
True.
Maybe this phone had you're an idiot YouTuber protection.
You did this whole thing.
And I just noticed you fell 85 feet in 2.5 seconds. Do I need to call somebody?
It just pops on. It's like, hey, you just fell 85 feet. You good?
So 2 guys were eyewitnesses to the thing. They rushed to his aid.
Oh, so there were people. Okay, so he would have been okay.
First responders went out there. I think his wife ended up out there.
Oh, man.
He was going 50 miles an hour in the air before the fall from the sky. But rushed to the hospital. He survives.
Good.
Fractured neck.
Yeah.
Fractured back.
Yeah.
Broken pelvis.
That'll happen.
Pelvis is one of those thick bones where if you break that, you go, ouch.
Yeah.
That one hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
Broken arm. All of those will require surgery. I'm not sure what kind of health plan you have being a YouTube influencer. I would imagine it's not great.
But this video is going to get him so many views.
If they allow him to post it. Because there's a little self-harm in there. Maybe not on purpose, obviously.
But it is still harm.
But they may not allow this to happen. Now, it may make other sites that he would get paid for, like maybe Barstool buys it for $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
But it ain't paying no doctor bills. I don't know if you remember what it was like with childbirth, but he'll be paying on these doctor bills for years.
We're still paying the doctor bills.
That's right.
Childbirth.
Have a baby today, pay for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy's going to be paying for a while. Man, could you imagine just being on the highway driving somewhere, seeing this dude fall from the sky?
No.
Like, what do you even do? I guess you call the police from the road.
I mean, I guess I would go look. Because
would you pull off and go figure it out?
Well, I guess it depends on how far into the woods they are.
Here comes Justin to save the day?
No, but it's more like
this is interesting. I thought it might be on the beach because we see the beach guy all the time. And the woods is an interesting proposition because if you're 85 feet in the air, you're like at the treetops.
That's what I mean.
So, like, maybe you can grab one of those on the way down.
Possibly.
Even if just to slow your descent.
From like a helping them perspective, though, it would be how far are you and how much effort is it for me to get there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you don't want to be put out too much. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, man, I'm actually on the way somewhere.
Well, you know, it's a lot of work to get to you, and like I don't really know what I'm doing to begin with.
This is wild. I didn't expect to see this coming. This was a heel turn from you.
Well, listen, like I would feel inclined to help them. But it would definitely be like if I have to climb down this whole rock ledge to get to you, and then I get there and I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't do well with stressful situations.
You pull up to the side of the rocks, be like, "Hey, do you need help?" And if you get a no, you're off and running.
Yeah, or a grunt is probably fine.
That's pretty much what he was given, right?
Right, like okay, well, if
you need help, he's like, "Ah!"
Right.
Yeah, it's like that sounds like a yes.
I think that was a yes. You know,
pull up Google Translate or something. Translate English from fallen paraglider. But those things seem so high up to have no safety net. Like if you're in a chair on a parachute, why not pack the extra parachute? Why not just pack the extra parachute just in case?
Well, because you have a fan. You don't have a way to deploy the parachute.
Well, then bring a jetpack or something.
And also at 85 feet, I don't think that's enough time for a parachute to like catch.
It's a pretty good point, actually.
I don't think it's enough time.
You pull the string at 2 feet. And you're like, oh, that didn't work.
Well, yeah, we tried. It's like, what is it, South Park where he jumps off the house?
We shouldn't be laughing. It's the Aaron Schachter Show, ESPN 690, back in a minute with one of the best interviews we had on Saturday from the Malvi Washington Smoothie King Crown Cup.
Spring has sprung, and tax return season is here. Now's the time to beautify your home by replacing your old windows with new energy-efficient, easy-to-clean windows from American Window Products. Keep the summer heat out with special glass packages, including low E3 and argon gas. American Window Products only uses the highest quality products and professionally trained employees to install. Call now to find out why they were voted the #1 window company in Jacksonville. 731-2247 for a free estimate, or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Are you a real estate investor or have considered investing and want to know where you can put your money that offers solid returns and protects against market volatility? It's Rich Jones. I want to introduce you to DLP Capital. CEO and founder Don Wenner.
For more than a decade, DLP Capital has delighted our investors with consistent double-digit returns. Through the smart, conservative real estate investment strategy our company is built on, we have been able to achieve this with monthly distributions and tax shelters so our investors can keep more of their returns.
Dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Snyderman, can you jump really high? Can you turn invisible?
Can you see me now?
Yes.
Then no.
Then what makes you a superhero?
Our AC is out.
Duty calls, kids.
If your AC is running but not cooling, making loud noises, or your home's too humid, now you can schedule an appointment online at SnyderAC.com.
You're my hero, Snyderman. CAC 1813307.
Hey folks, this is the time of year I get the itch to start de-junking the house and doing some deep cleaning. At Zerorez, our mission is to become the most trusted provider in our industry. We know that trust is earned through honesty, know-how, and good old-fashioned hard work. We would love the chance to earn your trust. For April, Zerorez is offering 25% off on all floor cleaning services. That's 25% off the cleaning of your carpets, tile and grout, vinyl and wood floors, and your area rugs. Zerorez, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Men,
Suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? Frustrated taking pills that don't work? Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough treatments with men lasting longer than ever without pain or surgery.
Call now. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results right in the office. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now. 904-664-8221. That's 904-664-8221.
Get relief with a needle, not a knife. No surgery, steroids, drugs. You don't need that. You just need QC Kinetics. The future of medicine is here with QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades. Regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, if your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, especially as the weather gets better and better here in Northeast Florida, you need to call QC Kinetics now, 904-274-5522, and get a free consultation with QC Kinetics. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics, using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, publishing. He wants to get you relief now. Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522.
I love a beautiful lawn. I hate